that uses divination.
Go ahead.
Or an observer of times.
Go ahead.
Or an enchanter.
Or enchanter. Observers of time or enchanter. Read.
Or a witch.
Or who?
Or a witch.
Or a witch. Go ahead. Be all right. Keep going.
Or a charmer. Or a consulter with familiar spirits. Or a wizard. Or a necromancer.
Go ahead.
For all that do these things are an abomination unto Yahuwah. And because of these abominations, the Most High, your God, does drive them out from before you.
So right here, he's letting us know we don't have no dealings with any of this type of stuff. Witches, warlocks, none of it. So we know what's the next so-called holiday coming? Halloween. Let's go to Zephaniah 1 and 8.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 1 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass in the day of Yahuwah's sacrifice.
So in the day of the Most High's sacrifice. Now, what do the people do on Halloween? Trick or treat and what else?
Get dressed up.
They do what?
Get dressed up in costume.
They get dressed up in costumes. Read.
And it shall come to pass in the day of Yahuwah's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such as are clothed with strange apparel.
So dress them up like a little devil. It's just, he not no devil for real. We just playing. You take the fun out of everything, Quab. They can't do everything evil to you. Because everything is evil. He's letting you know this stuff ain't light. Get caught with this stuff on when they have been sacrificed. Get caught with it on. It's not a light thing, man. When we see Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, they all came up being Mouseketeers and stuff, right? But look how messed up they are. Jessica Timberlake, look how messed up they are. Exactly. All of them messed up. So this industry is after our children to destroy them spiritually. But that after we get past that stage, they got another stage for us. It's called hip hop. We all was heavy in it. All of us was heavy in it. And we know before, most of our people, before they got ready to do some dirt, get that stuff in the system, and turn on NWA or somebody. Now we finna ride on it. Finna ride on it. But we finna show you something. This from an article called The Secret Meeting. What's that called?
The secret meeting that changed hip hop.
So the secret meeting that changed hip hop. At first, hip hop was about fun and, then it went into another level of nothing but so-called black pride. Everybody had the medallions walking around, holding the fist up, and out of nowhere, that just went away. Public Enemy was no more. They didn't matter no more. But it was an agenda that somebody came along with to push. So we're going to read some of this right here. Go ahead, read.
He explained that the companies we work for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons.
On what?
Privately owned prisons.
Now you may say, what does the music industry have to do with prison? It has a lot to do with it. They go hand in hand. That's why this stuff is promoted. Read.
and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments.
So right here, think of it like this. Think of Russell Simmons, Puffy, Jay-Z, Lyor Cohen's, Jimmy Iovine. All of these guys get in a room and have a meeting and say, this is the direction we need music to take. We're going to gangstify it. And these dummies will kill themselves. And all they care about is they're going to get paid to put you in there.
Exactly.
Read.
I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in confusion. At that time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with us.
So he want to know, what is this prison stuff about? And what do it's got to do with us? That's what these executives asking. Now, some of them got up and left out the room. They knew it wasn't right. But most of them stayed. Read.
We were told that though these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates.
So they get funded on the more people we get in prison, the more money they get. So Bill Clinton comes out and says that if you get caught with 3 rocks, you get automatically so much time off the rip.
That was the first Bush.
No, him too. So off the rip, you get so much funding. The more people you lock up, the more funding you get.
It used to be $27,000 in prison. I don't know what it's gonna
It's
be.
more than that.
It was more than
I know it's more than that because this was 10 years ago.
Right.
But the thing of it was, you could find it on the stock market. You could find it on the stock
Exactly.
market. Now they've gone underground. You can't find the listing on the regular stock market trade pages.
Right.
But you used to could have up until about maybe 5 years ago.
So again, the more people you lock up, the more money you get. So we're gonna get them in any way we can. Read.
The more inmates, the more money the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they became publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares.
So
Just like what you
we
said.
can get the shares while they low. That's what they was letting them know. Look, this is grassroots. It's at the bottom right now. Get in while it's good. Buy it cheap. In a minute, when they go up, when these places stack up with our people in there, you're gonna be filthy rich. Read on.
Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague, who had first opened the meeting, took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employers have become silent investors in this prisoners business,
The people behind the curtain, silent investors. Read.
it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to make this happen by marketing music.
By doing what?
By marketing music,
By marketing music. Go ahead.
which promotes criminal behavior.
NWA pops up on the scene
Exactly.
out of nowhere. It was proven Dr. Dre wasn't no gangster. From his album cover that Easy put out.
Exactly.
Showed him in a sequin outfit, looking
Lipstick
like
on.
a straight up Rick James type of dude. All of a sudden, he don't do this no more. All of a sudden, he's a gangster.
Smoking chronic at cake mix.
Big gangster. All of a sudden, no more Public Enemy. No more
KRS.
KRS. You know what I'm saying? None of these groups don't shine no more. All of these MC8s and Spice Ones, all of these dudes pop up out of nowhere. Read.
Rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this will be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies. And as an employee, we also be able to buy personal stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop.
So these men in there looking like, wait a minute, what are we getting into? We finna poison our own people. They knowing it before they do it. Read.
I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My days was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a effing joke?"
So that's somebody was in there like, this got to be a joke, man. This cannot be real. But it is real. Jump down here. Yep.
As the months passed, rap music had definitely changed direction.
So he see that it actually done changed direction. It's no more friendly, having fun no more. Fresh Prince and none of that stuff. It ain't no more of that. It's straight up hardcore. Everybody's a killer now. Everybody's a killer now. It's no more fun in this stuff now. And then the rappers will say, well, why is it that Arnold Schwarzenegger can kill up hundreds of people in his movies and y'all don't say nothing about that? The difference is, we know it ain't no Terminator walking around the hood doing none of this. But you're promoting this as if you actually are living this lifestyle. Which fools these children to think this is how it's supposed to be. I gotta be hard. That's what my favorite rappers say. Read.
I was never a fan of it, but even I could tell the difference. Rap acts that talk about politics or harmless fun were quickly fading away as gangster rap started dominating the airwaves. Only a few months had passed since the meeting, but I suspect that the ideas presented that day have been successfully implemented.
Have been successfully implemented. Read.
It was as if the order had been given to all major label executives. The music was climbing the charts, and most companies were more happy to capitalize on it. Each one was chumming out their own very gangster rap. I'm sorry. Each one is churning out their very own gangster rap acts on an assembly line.
On what?
On an assembly line.
That's why they was popping up out of nowhere. Go ahead.
Everyone bought into it.
Everybody bought into it. Thought this was real life. Now dudes who ain't sold an aspirin, acting tough, trying to live what they see on TV, thinking it's real, not even knowing them dudes behind the scenes like cut or action.
Everyone bought into it, consumers included. Violence and drug use became a central theme in most rap music.
And what?
Violence and drug use became a central theme in most rap music.
So all of this stuff came about. Now weed is the most popular thing in the world. Everybody's smoking it. Everybody trying to follow the trend because these people on TV doing it and saying it's all right. So this music promotes a lifestyle. Let's go back to the scripture. Let's go to Isaiah 51 and 20.
Hey, and real quick, what year did Bill Clinton come into office, if anybody can remember? Yep, about the 92 era. That's around the time when gangster rap really started to boom from the late 80s to the early 90s. Early 90s is when it really started to boom. And what was flooding our hoods at that time?
Right.
Exactly. So you see how they all connected? And Bill Clinton is on record as building the most prisons out of all presidents.
Exactly. So at the same time, everybody will say, we was living good.
Building the most prisons. Living.
So everybody will say when Bill Clinton was in there, he was the first black president. We was living good. No. Dude was doing stuff with the left hand. He was doing this, smiling in your face, but all the while he was putting them cracks in the neighborhood.
That's why the economy was booming like that. Little do people know. Straight off the black market.
So Isaiah 51 and 20. Now where do the young boys hang at?